A day later, a grainy gym photo slipped onto Instagram. There was Islam lacing mittwork with Zabit Magomedsharipov, an elite striker whose sabbatical had become MMA folklore. Striking with Zabit? For the lightweight king whose identity is built on smothering grappling, that's like a chess grandmaster drilling blitz openings with a speed chess prodigy. Fans read one meaning. Islam is quietly upgrading for a man whose hands put Volk to sleep in one round. Ilia Topuria, meanwhile, turned the volume to 11. On the PBD podcast, he didn't just promise victory. He promised to choke Islam unconscious with the very DRC, the Dagestani perfected on Dustin Poirier. Imagine robbing a wizard with his own spell. Topuria's confidence sounded half prophecy, half provocation, and social media lapped it up. Size became the talking point. Some photos made Ilia look a shredded 180 pounds, others a lean featherweight. Each pixel sparked a new Reddit war over whether El Matador could truly make 155 without draining the power out of those granite fists. One thing, though, is certain. He's living rent-free in the champ's headlines, if not his head. But 155 pounds isn't the only weight class headed for a collision course. The UFC hasn't felt this restless since Conor's left hand rewrote history. Pay-per-view numbers have cooled, star power is thin, and the promotion needs a brand new lightning strike. So when matchmaker-in-chief Hunter Campbell boarded a private jet to the misty peaks of Dagestan, insiders knew something seismic was brewing. Local custom says a revered guest leaves with both hands full, and Hunter Campbell is as revered as it gets behind the scenes. Over steaming papaka coffee, he and Islam Makhachev spoke in low tones, while manager Rizvan Magomedov looked on, grinning like a man whose phone just pinged seven-figure numbers. Sources inside the camp whisper that a handshake framework for Makhachev versus Topuria emerged before the saucers cooled. The symbolism matters. The UFC didn't drag Islam to Vegas. It traveled to his mountain stronghold, signaling genuine respect and, more importantly, blank check intent. But the champ's poker face stayed stone cold. No tweets, no call-outs. To Dagestani warriors, deeds shout louder than posts, and that silence only made the outside world scream louder. Up at 185, Khamzat Chimaev broke his own media blackout with a single line: "Let them prep for war, I'm prepping for murder." The words dripped menace, yet Dricus du Plessis only laughed, posting "Shakespeare in the house" with a smiley that turned bloodlust into stand-up. The champ's coach insists the bout is still on, the only mystery is when. International Fight Week? Late summer? Either way, the UFC is salivating at the thought of Chimaev's smash-style pressure colliding with du Plessis's awkward but deadly kickboxing maze. One misread angle, and somebody's title run evaporates. If that happens on the same card as Islam Topuria, the PPV buy rate might finally unthaw. Meanwhile, the welterweight division has gone full soap opera. Kamaru Usman, once the picture of stoic dominance, now warns he'll need security if he crosses paths with reigning champ Belal Muhammad in any backstage corridor. The bad blood erupted during an unreleased podcast where Belal couldn't resist reminding Usman of that head kick finish, and a worse sin in Usman's eyes, the fact that he's no longer the guy. Muhammad recounted it play-by-play, admitting he poked the former champ for fun and got a face-to-face promise of on-site violence. Usman, prepping for a comeback bout after nearly 2 years out, bristles every time someone calls Belal champ. Belal, defending against Jack Della Maddalena at UFC 315, here splits hips but smells legacy. If their paths cross on Fight Week, as cameras roll, security guards might earn overtime, and, ironically, the feud could outshine whoever's actually in the cage that night. Across social, fans already ask, is this the new Masvidal Askren? A beef more memorable than the belt? 4 flashpoints, 1 board. In Dagestan, a silent champion sharpens blades, while a Spanish-Georgian firebrand taunts him. In the middleweight cauldron, an undefeated wolf stalks a South African lion. Down at welterweight, yesterday's king circles today's, each daring the other to blink under fluorescent hallway lights. The UFC doesn't just need one spark, it needs a bonfire, and any of these matchups could torch the drought. So here's the question: which fight drags the sport into its next boom era? Makhachev versus Topuria, Chimaev versus du Plessis, or the inevitable backstage showdown of Muhammad versus Usman? Drop your pick below, and remember, in MMA, the fight you don't expect sometimes steals the show. Stay tuned, stay curious, and keep those gloves up, because the next shot could break sooner than you think.